this video, I'm going to show you how you can convert your 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays onto your PSP so you can watch your movies on the go. First things first, you're going to need a movie you can rip and a disk drive to rip it on. So let's put the disk into the machine. And you're also going to need a USB cable to transfer the data to your PSP, or another method. But USB cables are the easiest and most straightforward. The best piece of software for ripping movies is Make MKV. You can get it on a free trial, and I don't think the trial really expires, as the software has been pretty much pay if you want for many years at this point. But pretty straightforward. You want to rip the largest file on the disk. That's generally going to be the movie. You can always look up the movie title followed by Make MKV if there's any quirks about specific releases. But ripping movies with Make MKV is a very straightforward process. Once you get that huge MKV file from your disk onto your computer, the next piece of software you're going to want to use is Handbrake. There's other pieces of software specifically for compressing videos into PSP format, but a lot of those are very old and out of date, not necessarily working that great. Handbrake is pretty much the go-to software for compressing any sort of video files. And there's also a preset, which I'll link, and then an updated preset that I tweaked based on that original. So both of those will be in the description, but I'm just going to show you the original preset, importing that into Handbrake, and the tweaks that I did to get my current preset. The PSP is very finicky with video formats. If you do get anything wrong with these formats, it will just show up as a corrupted file or a unplayable video file once you load it onto the PSP, something like this. But here's what I've come to find are viable formats for the PSP. I'm going to show you how to use the preset to get the standard one, which just sticks to the PSP screen resolution, which is 480 by 272 pixels. But I also want to show you how to get the largest file format, because you can go up to 720 horizontally by 576 pixels in the vertical direction. But yeah, this preset pretty much covers everything from audio to the default size. So the only thing you'll need to worry about if you're actually ripping a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray is under the filters tab, there is a color space option. So you're going to want to change that and specify you want BT 709, because if you don't change that, it's going to leave the video file in a larger color space HDR format, which the PSP won't like and won't be able to play. So this will convert it back to a more typical color space that most videos in general use these days. Other than that, you won't really need to change anything. If you want to get the absolute maximum resolution you can out of this PSP file, you're going to want to go to the Dimensions tab. I'd recommend turning off cropping and just generally using this if you have a video file that's 16 by 9. You're just going to want to set the resolution to 720 by 576 and then leave the rest on automatic. Check this, and this will maximize the resolution of this video file that you could put on the PSP with full compatibility. And then once these files are compressing the whole movie took me about half an hour. Finally, you can take your PSP and set it to USB mode. That'll make it show up as an external drive on your computer. You can just drag the files into it. You might get 2 storage drives show up depending on your PSP. Mine has a memory stick and internal storage because it's a PSP Go. So I just put it into the one that had the most free space. I believe it's the memory stick that I have more space left on. So once that's done copying, you can unplug your PSP and check in the videos tab of the XMB. Check the different storage options if you weren't sure where it ended up, and then you should see your video files. I have the full movie here in the native PSP resolution with the black bars cropped off, just because it saves a little bit of storage, and that was part of the preset that we used. But I also have some examples that you might want to use for something that is actually 16 by 9 without any black bars, which just allows you to maximize the resolution of the video file. So I have one that's 720p by 480, and then I have one that's 720p by 576 pixels. So starting off with the crop native resolution video, the PSP actually has built-in cropping features for video files, so you can actually zoom in and remove the bars on this screen. But because the entire video with the bars was 272 vertically, you are losing a bit of resolution when you zoom in onto this file, which is why I was digging into getting these high resolution files working. Unfortunately, I couldn't get either of them to work when zooming in to fill the screen, which is why I would just stick to using these if your file doesn't have any black bars that need to be cropped off. So if you have like a TV show or an IMAX release maybe of a Blu-ray with no black bars, this would be the way to go to keep as much quality there as possible. Of course, these resolutions are larger than the PSP, but UMD movie discs for the PSP are actually a higher native resolution than the PSP screen itself. Even with less pixels, the anti-aliasing and the general result you'll get out of running a high resolution file will look better than a one-to-one quality file. But there you go, there's how to get your UMD movies running on your PSP so you watch them on the go, because why not? Hopefully this was helpful, and you could apply the same technique to DVDs or regular Blu-rays if you really wanted to. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and let me know what other kind of useless tutorials with PlayStation gear you'd like to see in the future. Bye-bye.